Good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. Come on in, come on in. Your brother Tony is in the house. Come on to the dinner table, sit down and get comfortable because I got some good food for the soul. That's right, I got some good soul food for you tonight. Come on in, come on in. I look forward to talking to you, brothers and sisters, since the earlier part of today. We're at the beginning of a new week. Thank God we're here. And my brother and sister, I hope that you all had a very good weekend. And if the Lord allows to have some more time on this earth, you know you're going to be blessed. Just remember to keep your relationship with the Lord Jesus tight. Okay. Now, if this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to fully introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I speak on relationships. When I talk about relationships, I talk about relationship basically from a biblical point of view. When I say a biblical point of view, I believe strongly that God is the one that created a relationship. As a matter of fact, God created everything, but we're talking about relationship. And when God started the relationship off, God started the relationship off with first, he had a unique relationship with a man. That man was Adam. Secondly, he had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. Let me put let's park right here for a moment. I want you to understand, my brother and sister, that before God brought a man and woman together, he had a separate relationship with the man Adam, and then secondly, he had a unique relationship separately with Eve, and then he brought the woman to Adam, and in the presence of God, uh, Adam said, "Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I shall call her a woman because she came from man." And I see that Sister Angie B has sat at the table. How you doing, sister? Welcome to the dinner table tonight. How you doing, Sister Tierra? Welcome to the dinner table. And the rest of you brothers and sisters, come on in, because you know we got that good soul food for the soul. Go ahead and invite some more family members and friends to the dinner table because we got plenty of food, and you know we got plenty. We're not running out, okay? And I'm urging you, my brother and sister, go ahead because some people out there, they need to get some of this soul food because it's nutritional for the soul. Now, if you don't believe in the concept of relationship that I talk about, when I say what I talk about from a biblical point of view between a man and a woman with God in the middle of the relationship, if you have another type of relationship that you're interested in, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do, but I would like to let you know at the dinner table, I specifically talk about a relationship from God's point of view. That's when God created a man first, he created a woman second, and he brought that woman to the man, and in the presence of God, the man acknowledged the woman. And that's how God started off. So that's the type of relationship that I basically talk about. With that said, when you look at the menu tonight, my brother and sister, we are going to uh, feed up on the topic 7 signs that he or she is moving on without you. 7 signs that he or she is moving on without you. That's right. You know, I got to talk facts, my brother and sister. And this particular topic is a fact of life, and we need to talk about it because there are some brothers and sisters that are dealing with this right now. Now, my brother and sister, have you, or to say it differently, are you currently in love with someone, but you know deeply within your heart that the relationship is coming to an end or it has came to an end, and you felt or you're feeling powerless to that fact that the person that you love doesn't love you? And that's what we're talking about at the dinner table tonight. This is a tough topic. Some of us have walked that road before. And when I say walk the road before we get to that, let's define the word rejection, because that is what we're basically going to talk about tonight: being rejected and how you can move on after being rejected. Because a lot of you brothers have and sisters have been rejected. Some of you brothers and sisters are currently being rejected, or if you haven't, or if you're currently, you will probably experience being rejected down the road. So we're going to talk about that. And this is a good time to set the dinner table. By the way, my brother and sister, I'm talking on 2 different platforms. I'm talking on the book, and I'm talking on the tube. Those of you that on the tube, some of the brothers and sisters that's on the book, you may not see their comments, but I do. And vice versa. Some of you brothers and sisters there are on the book. I make some comment to those that are on the tube. You won't see it, but we're all family here, okay? Now, when we look in the dictionary and we look at the word rejection, the word rejection, my brother and sister, is clearly defined as refusal to accept, approve, or support something. Refusal to show love or kindness, focusing on that part of rejection. Refusal to show someone love or kindness. Now, the question to you, my brother, and the question to you, my sister, tonight, have you ever been rejected by someone that you were in love with? Or are you currently being rejected by someone as we speak right now, and you clearly know it? This is what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, being rejected, my brother, and being rejected, my sister, it's nothing new to the word. As a matter of fact, Jesus knows exactly what it's like. Let me go to God's word, and I'm going to prove a point. As it is written in Isaiah 53:3. That again, that's Isaiah 53:3. Isaiah 53:3. It said, "He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrow and acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our faith from him. He was despised and we esteemed him not." They're talking, this scripture in Isaiah 53:3 is clearly talking about the Lord. And that's what Jesus experienced at the beginning of time. That's what the Lord Jesus experienced when he came down to this world. And that's what Jesus is currently experiencing right now. Jesus experienced us accepting him or rejecting him. And so, my brother and sister, you're going to have to understand you're not no better than the Lord. And I definitely not nowhere close to the Lord as far as knowing how to handle rejection and acceptance. Now, most of us, my brother and sister, we want to be accepted. Let's be real. We want to be accepted basically by everyone. But the truth of the matter is, my brother and sister, there are some people that are not going to accept us. And there are some people that are going to reject us. That could be your family member, your friends, your job, different places or different people may refuse and reject you. But we're going to narrow this down to the relationship between a man and a woman. Now, my brother and sister, question to you. Have you ever been rejected by someone that you were in love with, or you are currently in love with as we speak? Again, my brother and sister, have you been rejected by someone that you love? That's the question. Or are you currently in a relationship with someone and you are being rejected? Now, there are 7 points that I am going to make tonight about 7 signs that he or she is moving on without you. Now, my brother and sister, especially if you're fresh out of relationship and that man or woman is gone and you're not together, you fresh out of a relationship, or you currently in it and you feel it coming. You feel it coming. You don't want to see it, but you see it. Number 1 of the 7 signs he or she is moving on without you. And you got to be prepared for this, my brother and sister. Now, you are a good man and you are a good woman. And you are in love with this man, sister, or brother. You are in love with this woman. But the fact of the matter is that man or woman is pulling away from you, and you feel it. Not only do you feel it, you see it, but you think that it's a bad dream, but it's not a bad dream. It is reality. That person is pulling away from you. And right now you see that you ain't got no power. As a matter of fact, my brother and sister, at this particular time when somebody pulling away from you, you see that you ain't got no power at all over another person. So that's what I'm telling you, my brother and sister, when it comes to a relationship, you got to understand this. Every relationship in this world that you are getting to with a man, sister, or brother, with a woman, you need to listen to this. Every relationship that you get in, be mindful of this. It's going to come to an end. I don't want to be a bearer of bad news. You can have a good relationship, my brother. You can have a good relationship, my sister. But as far as this world go, it's gonna come to an end. You see the picture of that young lady up there with me? I love that woman. You know, her name is Tequesta. That's my wife, but I call her Cinderella because the shoe fit. But guess what? Even though I love her, our relationship one day is going to come to an end. It's going to come to an end. And I know it. And she knows it. Even though we're having a good relationship. Now, some of you saying, well, Tony, how can you being negative towards your relationship? I'm not being negative toward my relationship. I'm just facing the fact the relationship going to come to an end. You know why I say that? As it is. I'm talking about as it is. Everything in this world, my brother and sister, has a beginning, and everything in this world has an end. You got to face reality. Everything has a beginning and everything has an end in this particular life. And I'm going to tell you, as far as my relationship with that young lady on that picture, it's going to come to an end, and it's going to come to an end one of four ways. Number one, if Jesus don't come no time soon, if he tarry, I'm going to die. If he doesn't come no time soon, she's going to die. You understand? And hopefully this part doesn't come. I leave her for another woman, or she leave me for another man. Hopefully that part doesn't come into our relationship. Or the final part is Jesus come and he take both of us with him. Or Jesus come and one of us don't go with him. But if Jesus come and we both go with him, I want you all to understand this, especially you married couple. If you are married and Jesus come and both of you are saved and washed in the blood of the Lamb, you are not going to be married to that person that you're married to in this lifetime. Like if Jesus come right now today, even though I love Jesus, she loved Jesus, we love one another. We're not going to be married when Jesus comes. We're not going to be married. We're going to have another type of relationship because Jesus clearly say that, how you doing, sister? So when Jesus clearly say that we're going to be like the angels of heaven. And Jesus also said that you're not given into marriage or you're not married. The only marriage that's going to take place is your relationship with the Lord Jesus. So if my wife and I, if we're both saved by the Lord, we're going to have another type of relationship that's going to supersede this relationship that we got now. It's going to be far better. I don't know what it's like. I never experienced before, but I need to let you, brother and sister, know that the relationship, using myself, my wife, it's going to come to an end. And if it come to an end, I would prefer, if I had a choice, I would prefer it come to an end with Jesus coming and getting both of us, at the same time during the rapture. That's my preference. But, Jesus called the shots. I don't call the shot. But back to the topic. So I'm letting you all know now, relationship does come to an end. All relationship come to an end because this life, it has an end date. And only the Lord knows when this life is over. This lifestyle is over. It's coming to an end. Now, with that said, during the present time, there are some of you that are currently in a relationship. You fresh out of a relationship, or you are currently in a relationship. You're fresh out of a relationship. You thought you could do everything within your power to keep that man, sister, or brother, that woman. You probably have went to counseling and everything, but it didn't work. You tried to talk to that man or woman and it didn't work. You tried your best to do what you can do to sustain a relationship, but it didn't work. It seemed like everything that you were doing to try to make the relationship work or fix it. Some of you, brother and sister, you got to the point where you were trying to change who you really are. And that's the worst thing you could do, my brother and sister, change who you really are for another person. That person's supposed to accept you for who you are. You understand? And at the dawning part of a relationship, my brother and sister, that's why it's important at the beginning part of a relationship to not be unequally yoked. It's very vital that you, if you're saved, my brother and sister, you should only get into a relationship with a man or woman saved. If you're married minded, my brother and sister, you should only be involved with someone that is married minded. You don't want to try to get into no relationship and try to convince no one to be serious with you, to be committed to you, and get into a covenant relationship. As you know, my brother and sister, God prefer for a relationship to advance from being serious to committed, then the covenant part. That's how God would like it, okay? So, but how this world lives, my brother and sister, that man, that woman, they have what a free will. And I'm going to tell you this, my brother and sister, especially to those of you that are married. Listen to me carefully. There's no need for you to pray to the Lord to make that man stay with you, sister, or brother, to make that woman stay with you. Jesus, if you ask Jesus to cause that man or woman to stay with you, he's not going to do it. You know why he's not going to do it? Because God, through his son Jesus, gave that man or woman a free will. They have a free will. Even this, my brother and sister, if the Lord bring two people together that's right for one another, listen to me carefully. If the Lord bring two people together that's right for one another, they're not perfect. So, brother, the woman that you meet and the Lord calls you to find her, she's not perfect. Sister, the man that find you, that the Lord called to find you, he's not perfect. Now, the Lord can bring a man and woman together, but the key thing is he will not make that man and woman stay together. That's what a lot of you brothers and sisters need to understand. The Lord will not make you stay together. Now, the Lord can keep you together, but in order for the Lord to keep you together, both the man and the woman have to willfully include the Lord in the relationship. It can't be one-sided, whereas the man want the Lord in it and the woman doesn't, or the woman has the Lord, her mindset is for the Lord being and the man. It doesn't work. Both man and woman have to be willing. That's just like both man and woman, they have to willingly accept Jesus as their savior. It's will, it's not forced on you. Jesus don't even force us to be in a relationship with him. It's whoever will let him come. You understand? So when it comes to a relationship between a man and a woman, I got 7 points that I need to make. Number one, of the 7 signs that he or she is moving on without you. Number one, he or she is spending less time with you. Again, he or she is spending less time with you. He or she is spending less time with you. You remember, my brother and sister, at the beginning of the relationship, then the excitement phase, and a little after that, you and that person, you say you felt that you were in love, you thought that you was in love, and you tried to make that quality time with one another. You brother, you were making that quality time for her, and sister, you were making that quality time for him. But something happened. Something happened. Now, brother, you still want to spend quality time with her, or sister, you still want to spend quality time with him, but for some reason, he or she starts spending less time with you. This is one fruit of someone moving on from you. He or she starts spending less time with you. And you got to understand it, my brother. So every man and every woman have what is called pattern and behavior. So when a man, sister, starts spending less time with you, and brother, when a woman starts spending less time with you, there is a reason why. Because we all have what is called a pattern, and we all have what is called behavior. That man and that woman purposely, willfully start pulling his or herself away from you. And you're going to notice it. You're going to notice it. But can you make him or her spend time with you? No, you can't. The only thing you could do is address it. You have to address this thing early. You cannot let it keep going on. As Barney Fife used to say on the Andy Griffin show, you got to nip it in the bud. So you have to nip it in the bud at the beginning. Brother and sister, time is very, very important. Every second that go by, you cannot make up for time. You cannot go get it back. So what that man and woman going to do, they're going to start drifting away from you, and you're going to notice it. Some places that let's say, for example, you could have been going to public worship together. That person will start pulling his or herself away from you. They don't want to be with you even in public worship. Let's say you all used to go to family outings together. He or she start pulling his or herself away from you. Some of the places that you all used to go, let's say, for example, you had date night or whatever. He or she don't want to have date night with you no more. If they working out, I mean, when I say they're working out, they're not working in the home. They have their own business, so they're working for someone. You're gonna start noticing that he or she may call you and say, here go one key thing that you need to look at. I'm working late. And then he or she start working later and later and later. There's a reason why he or she is working late, because they don't want to be with you and they pulling themselves away from you. I'm not saying that there's someone else in the picture, but he or she, there's an indication that there's a possibility that someone else could be in the picture, but not necessarily. He or she is just pulling his or herself away from you. And you may even try to renew the relationship. Let me tell you this, my brother and sister, before I go any further. When it comes to a relationship, it's not nothing magical about it. When it comes to a relationship, it's just like wintertime. The world is cold out there. And if you're in a cabin on a hill and it's snowing and you have some logs in the cabin, you have some fire, you need to understand it, my brother and sister, you need to put the logs in the fireplace and light the fire. How you doing, Sister Alice? Welcome to the dinner table. She said, good evening, Brother Toomer. Thank you for setting the table and feeding God people. God bless you and your wife. Thank you so much, Sister Alice. Thank you so much for being at the dinner table, my sister. Thank you. Now, my brother and sister, if you're in a cabin, and in order to keep yourself warm, what you have to do, you have to put log in the fire. You can't just see the log and think that the fire going to keep burning. You have to put some work in, my brothers. You have to put some work in, my sister, for that fire to keep burning. And that's how it is in relationship. You have to keep the fire burning, and you have to work. Just put the logs in, keep doing it, because if you don't, what's going to happen? The fire going to go out. So that means, brother, you got to be active in a relationship purposely. Sister, you got to be active in the relationship purposely. And you got to do that from the beginning. You can't slack up when it comes to a relationship. Relationships are not for quitters. Even though you have two imperfect people, it's not for a man that's a quitter and a woman that's a quitter. It's going to be some ups and downs in the relationship. There's going to be some storms in the relationship. There's going to be seasons in the relationship, because no relationship is perfect. That man come in with flaws, that woman come in with flaws. So a lot of people, you have these unrealistic expectations of a person. Unrealistic expectation. And if something wrong happened in the relationship, somebody want to bounce out the relationship. You have to be mature when it comes to relationship. That's why it's vital, brother, and that's why and that's why it's vital, sister, that you include the Lord in a relationship. You need the captain of the ship in your relationship, which is the Lord. And your relationship got to be grounded on the rock, not on shifting sand. It's got to be on the rock. And guess what, my brother, sister, brother, that woman that you meet, she's going to change. Sister, that man that you meet, he's going to change. That's what some people need to understand. Because some people say, well, he or she changed. Yes, a man and woman going to change. As time go on, the man thought process is going to change, and the woman thought process is going to change. Hopefully, it's going to get better. But so the man and the woman in the relationship, the thoughts going to get better or worse. When it get better, you're going to gain wisdom. You're going to gain knowledge. You're going to get understanding and discernment. On the other hand, if the relationship is not growing, You're going to have a lack of wisdom. You're going to have a lack of knowledge. You have a lack of understanding, and you have a lack of discernment. That's why I say you have to keep the fire on in the fireplace. Now, he or she start spending less time with you. You may go to him or her. It's best to go to him or her and say and see, can you start rekindle whatever it is. But if that person is willful and not want to do it, it's a reason why that man or woman is pulling his or herself away from you. You could be let me tell you to my brother and sister, brother, you can be a good man. Sister, you could be a good woman, but that's not no guarantee that that person that you're in love with is not going to pull away from you. And sometimes it happens. I mean, it happens. It happened. Number two, there are going to be less communications. When that person start moving on without you, he or she going to stop communicating with you as much as he or she used to. Sister Jane Sutton say, but what about if you have a friendship and you begin to feel uncomfortable with the person and their presence begin to disturb you, which cause you to pull back? Well, sister, if you start feeling uncomfortable and their presence disturb you, you are, to be fair, go ahead and tell the person. Go ahead and just be straight up and tell the person, because you don't want to waste that person's time. No one time need to be wasted. So, sister son, just go ahead and tell that person, that just be honest and say, well, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable, and in a nice way. If they disturb you, just say, we just need, to go out separate. Now, when you said friendship, I don't know, are you just talking about a mutual friendship, or are you talking about you were dating a person? That's what I need to know. Were you dating a person, or you just had a friendship? But the second thing, there is less communication. What happens? That person, my brother, and that person, my sister, he or she stopped talking to you that much. You're going to notice the verbal communication going to start getting less. You're going to notice that the phone calls start getting less. You're going to notice that the texts start getting less. All communication is going to start decreasing, and you're going to find it. So 2 factors so far: less time and less communication. Then another thing that's going to probably start coming up, you're going to start having more disagreements, and there's a possibility that some name calling coming. That's right. At this particular part in the relationship, it's going to get real uncomfortable. And there's a person that used to respect you, he or she doesn't respect you anymore. So those type of people, they may start unnecessary disagreement. They find a piece of lint on the floor and they want to start arguing about that. Sister Sutton said, it was a friendship. I was uncomfortable with the friendship until they tried to take it to a different level, and I'm not ready to go, and they are pulling at me, and that's disturbing. Just Sister Sutton, just tell that person in a nice, respectable way, I don't want that type of relationship that you want. Just go ahead and be say it in a nice way. Just say, I don't want that type of relationship that you want. And I encourage you to start seeing someone else. Go ahead and, so you won't waste the person's time. Say, I encourage you to start seeing someone else. That's how you handle it. But number 3, there are going to be more disagreements and name calling. A lot of time, that person that used to respect you may lose respect of you. That person may get to the point where they start disliking you. Especially, listen to this, especially, my brother and sister, if you got into a relationship with someone that is not a Christian and you're a Christian. From the beginning that you were unequally yoked, and now it's not going. If you believe in the Lord, my brother and sister, and this person is a non-believer, it's not going to work anyway. It's not going to work. You just coasting along, and just like in a car on a busy interstate, and you run out of gas, the only thing you operating on is the fumes in the car. The car is going to break. So there's going to be some disagreement. And like I said, they may pick something a little simple like a piece of lint on the floor. And it could be anything. They're going to make up excuses to start up an argument. You're going to be walking, especially some of you married people, you'll be walking in the house and it's wintertime all day, every day in the house. You walk by one another and you feel a chill. You used to, when you married people, y'all used to be in the bed and you used to cuddle. And you in the king side bed, y'all used to meet in the middle of the bed and cuddle and go to sleep. Now, the bed so big, one of you is way on the left side and one of you on the right side, and all that empty part in the middle, and you cliffhanger. What is a cliffhanger? You right on the edge of the bed, and you turn too much, you're gonna flip over and fall on the floor. So a lot of you, brother and sister, you doing the cliffhanger part. You don't even want to spend it. You don't even want that person saying nothing to you in the house unless it's necessary. And I mean only when it's necessary. There are so many relationships right now where husband and wife, they are reduced to roommates. That's dangerous. When a husband and wife, you reduce to roommate. You only say something only when necessary. You live in there now because of how things are in this world now due to the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. The high cost of moving into a house or going to an apartment or whatever, you just stand together for the cause, or you quote unquote the children, whatever. But he doing his thing, she doing her thing, but you want the marriage to work. Some people, especially some married people, you work in the same room. Now that person that don't like you no more have moved into another room. And here she doing his or her thing. They don't care nothing about you. Then you want to confront them about it and say, hey, you can't even say good morning or anything like that. And then that person say good morning or won't say nothing. Then you start a little argument. And then if that person starts seeing someone outside of your home, that's when that person going to really start trying to start little arguments to justify him or her leaving. And that's how some of them do it. Then they start calling you names. And when a man and woman get to the point where they start calling you names, that person is telling you, my brother and sister, he or she don't love you. And when I say calling you names, I'm talking about calling you degraded names. They call you degraded, and they don't care how you take it or how you feel. They talk to you in a way where the words cut you. And when the word cut you, the Bible clearly say that the tongue had the power of life and death. And they use their tongue to destroy you. They want to destroy you mentally. They want to destroy you emotionally. They don't care about you sometimes. And sometimes, my brother and sister, there's some women that will point blank tell you they don't like you, that you all used to have a good relationship. Sister, there's some men that will point blank tell you they don't like you and they don't want you. But you good to them. Brother, you good to her. Sister, you good to him. But that's how it go. And then what happened? Number 4. Once they get to the disagreement, okay, number 1, to recap, you start spending less time together. Number 2, less communication. Number 3, disagreement, name calling a lot. Then number 4, sexual intimacy decrease and or come to a complete stop. Especially you married people, when your spouse stops you, I had something happen right there. When your spouse starts spending less time with you, when there's less communication, when there's a disagreement, this to a complete stop. That man or woman do not want you no more. They don't want you no more. You want to be intimate with them, physically intimate with them, but they don't want you no more. That happens. He or she may not have someone there, but then again, majority of the time, he or she does have somebody else that they're physically intimate with. And y'all could be staying up under the same roof, but that man and woman, they have started their life without you. And they hope that you leave or they're about to leave on you, which goes to number 5. He or she goes ghost on you. They're going to get to the point where they may start off saying, I'm going on a men's trip or a girl's trip. And once they go, they can use little stuff like that. And then you try to call them a text, they don't even respond to you. And then you wonder what's going on. They don't respond. Then when they do respond back, they'll say something like, didn't I tell you I was going on a boy trip or girl trip? I'm not saying to you, brother, sister, don't go on no trip. That's up to you all. But I'm just showing you a scenario of what they like to do. So when they go ghost on you. Then some of them get to the point where they don't even go on no boy or girl trip. They just don't come home. And they just stay out for several days. And you call and then text them. They don't even respond at all. And then sometimes you could find out that they got action going on the outside, and you know what I mean by action going on the outside, and they get to the point where they don't care. They just don't care. I'm having some technical difficulties, my brother and sister. Wrap this up so it won't go completely out on you. And then number 6, you start feeling that separation or divorce is on the way. That's right. You start feeling that it's on the way. What happens? First, the mind leaves, and after the mind, the emotion leaves, and after the emotion leaves, the body leaves last. So, my brother and sister, if a man or a woman divorce you, it's a stage. Even though that man or woman is there bodily, they may be there bodily, but their mind is focusing on life without you. Then their emotions come and you think that they're cold. They're cold because they don't feel that natural love for you no more. So the emotion is being pulled back from you. So everything starts in the mind. So the emotion and they start pulling away from you. And the last thing that happens, my brother and sister, is the body. He or she actually leave you. So if you ever come home one day, my brother, or you come home or one day, my sister, and that person that you was in a relationship gone, it didn't just happen that day. It was a progress in motion. You failed to realize what was going on. You didn't want to face the fact that it was coming to an end. Most of the time when a relationship coming to an end, my brother and sister, that man or woman got a plan. They got a timetable and they got a plan. The worst thing, my brother and sister, is when you come home and that man and woman have moved out on you, didn't say nothing. And that comes to you will reject, and now you're being totally disrespected. They don't care what you think or how you feel no more. Even if you have children together, they don't care. It's all about me, myself, and I to some of these people. So my brother says, then the final part that you got to understand when it comes to 7 signs that he or she is moving on without you, you got to look at it this way. You are not a failure. Do not ever think, my brother and sister, you good brothers and you good sister, you Christian brother and good sister, never think that you are a failure. You're not a failure. The relationship failed. That's all. The relationship failed, but you're not a failure. And guess what, my brother and sister? You just don't know. Out of a lot of failures, a good man, sister, may be on the horizon. Brother, a good woman could be on the horizon. You don't know. God was just waiting for that dysfunctional relationship to end, brother, so he can call you to find the right woman that he had in the bush for you, that ram in the bush. Or sister, you were waiting for that man to get from around you, so God had a ram in the bush for you too. So a lot of time, my brothers and sisters, when relationships come to an end, when a man or woman move on without you, you just don't know. God could be hoping that God could be working on your behalf for it to happen. So a lot of time when bad things happen, good things happen, but we can't see into the future. We only could remember some things about the past, and we live in the present. It's just like this. I always say this, I'm not the originator of it. We see the beginning part of the parade. God see the whole parade. Like if we're standing on the sidewalk when the parade go by, like the Macy parade up in New York, you just seeing the beginning part. If you on the street level, you're looking at the parade go by and you'll see a little of it, right? But you don't see the end. Whereas God position, like God is standing on top of the building, God see the beginning of the parade, he see the middle of the parade, and he see the end. God see the whole thing. But we do not have that ability, my brothers and sisters. We don't. How you doing, Sister Flo? Welcome to the dinner table. We don't have that ability. So if the relationship does come to an end, don't look in the mirror and say, I'm a failure. You're not a failure. If you are a son of God, brother, if you're a daughter of God, sister, you are not a failure. For those of you that are coming in tonight, we discussed 7 signs that he or she moving on without you. That's what we're doing. And I'm going to hit these 7 points again. And you could you could look at it again at your convenience. When you are rejected, my brother and sister, like I have said, sometime in relationship, all relationships come to an end. I said that even the best relationship come to an end in this world, this life, not in the life to come. See, when Jesus comes, it's going to be a whole nother life. Even a man and woman that's married, if they both saved by the Lord, they will not be married no more. You're going to be just like the angels. Because in heaven, you don't be given into marriage, or nor are you married. It's another type of relationship. So, brother and sister, if you're married now, your relationship with the Lord come, it's going to be much better than it is right now. You think you got a utopian relationship being husband and wife, but wait till the Lord come and both you all be with him. That's going to be a relationship that you never came to your mind or never enter into your heart. Okay. If you're rejected, my brother and sister, it happens. You either have been rejected before, you're being rejected now, or it's going to come. Okay. And the 7 points that I made, how you could tell that he or she is moving on without you. Number 1, I said, he or she start spending less time with you. They start spending less time with you. Number 2, there is less communication. You all don't talk like you used to. He or she refrain from talking to you only when necessary, if necessary. And you could be roommates at this point in the house. You married, but you're roommates. And you walk by one another, and it's wintertime all the time. You can feel the chill when you walk by one another. Number 3, more disagreements and name calling. That's right, so the flow short talking. More disagreements and name calling. You start talking about little stupid stuff, starting argument over nothing. And then sometimes it get to name calling. You start calling one another names, you start cussing each other out, you just totally disrespect the other person. You would even tell the person, I don't like you, go on with your life, why are you here? All kinds of stuff. You use your tongue as a sword, because the Bible say the tongue has the power of life and death, and you use it as a sword because you go for the juggler. Sister Tierra said, people were shocked when I celebrate my divorce. I suffered emotionally in my marriage. I was miserable, and the person I married didn't do anything to change. When I communicated, their action hurt me. That's some true stuff, Tierra. That kind of stuff happens. It happens. So, and then after, like I said, less time spent together, less communication, disagreement, name calling sometimes, then it get to the physical intimacy, it start decreasing. Especially some of you married people, you just want to be physical with your mate, right? But then your mate purposely don't want to be physical with you no more. It's either more than likely, let me tell you this, more than likely when your man or your woman don't want to be physical with you no more than likely, I'm not saying in all cases, they getting it from somebody else. I'm just telling you, I got to be truthful with you, my brother, sister. I don't want you naive. When they start doing this, a lot of time, brother, if your woman stops sleeping with you, I didn't say all the time, but majority of the time, she is being with someone else, especially if she had a high libido. And the same thing, sister, if that man had a high libido and he's not coming to you, more than likely it's somebody else. And this is the tragedy part of what go on when somebody is moving on without you. That's the tragedy part. But it's realistic. And let me tell you, sister, something on this note, and some of you brothers. So some of you brothers, and this mature people need to understand it. So some of you brothers, when she act like she want to do physical with you, but she don't get moist down there, right? She don't get moist like she used to, right? And you wondering what it is. It's her mind and her emotion is not there for you no more, brother. It could be for another man. Just because she don't get moist with you, she may get moist for someone else. And that's what you don't understand. But it's a reality. And then on the flip side, some of you married sisters, you saying that the man is impotent. He may be impotent to you because of the mind and his emotion. But he could jump up for someone else because his mind and his emotion is not there. In order for it to be physical intimacy, the mind needs to be there because the mind is what charge you up. The mind charge you up. How you doing, sister? Or Diamond Sim? Welcome to the dinner table. The mind charge you up. So if the man or the woman is spending less time with you, if they are talking less to you as far as communication, and then you start having all these disagreement and possible name calling, then the physical intimacy is going to happen. It's going to decrease. So don't ever think that man or woman probably don't have someone on the outside. Majority of the time, he or she is getting their medicine from someone else. That's just a reality. I didn't say all the time, but majority of the time. Then number 5, here she go ghost on you. You call, you text, they don't respond to you. They may say at the beginning, like I said, they may say at the beginning, I'm going on a girl trip, I'm going on a guy trip. And then when you call or text them, they don't respond. And then when they do respond, they'll say something like, didn't I tell you I was going on a trip? I needed a break. Some of them may say, I need a break from you. But some of them say, I need a break. I told you what I was doing. And a lot of cases like that, a lot of time it be somebody else. A lot of lying going on during that time. That man can have another woman. That woman can have another man, and they do go on the trip, but it minus all the other people. So Tierra said his ex-wife and telling me she was better than I was until she showed him that she didn't care about him. And everything he did to me, she did to him. I was so happy God released me from that marriage. Let me tell you what happened, Sister Tierra. That's a classic case of whatever you sow, you reap. That's what it is, Sister Tierra. When that happened between you and that man, and then he got married, and his ex-wife told you what she told you, it happens. It's a classic thing. Whatever you sow, my brother, or whatever you sow, my sister, that what you reap. The Bible clearly says God is not mocked. Whatever you sow, you reap. And going back to ghost, he or she gonna start ghosting you. They get to the point where they may not even come home overnight, and they grown, and you stand and you looking at the clock, and you looking out the window, and you get yourself all upset, but they don't want you no more. And that's totally you being rejected, and you totally being disrespected. Then after they ghost you, that's when you need to start seeing some sign, because that separation coming, then that divorce. It's coming. You can't stop it. You don't have no power over his or her will. It's on the way. Because like I tell you, my brother and sister, when a relationship is coming to the end, first the mind leaves. But that man and woman could still be in the house with you. It's not a home by that time. It's just a house. That man or woman, their mind leave first. But the body is there. That man or woman, emotional feeling towards you leave, but the body is there. And the last thing to leave is the body. It does not just happen just like that. You go to work one day, brother. You go to work one day, sister. You come back and all the furniture gone. Or his or her stuff gone. They may leave the furniture. It didn't just happen that day. That was premeditated. It was in the works. You should have been prepared for it. It was in the word. The Lord allowed you to see it, especially you was a Christian. The Lord let you see it. You didn't want to see it. That's why I'm telling you, my brother and sister, don't ever get into a relationship with an unbeliever, because at the beginning of the relationship, it was doomed. God gave you a free will. He gave that person free will. Like I told you, my brother and sister, earlier, you just wasting your time praying to Jesus to make that man or woman stay with you. He's not going to make them stay with you, because he gave them a will, a free will. Just like the Lord don't make no man or woman come and be saved by him. He give him a free will. Jesus don't force nothing on you. He let you know, look, I want a relationship with you, but it's up to you whether you want to do this or not. Jesus saying, I want to be serious with you. I want to commit to you, and I want to be in a covenant relationship with you. But if you don't want that, I'm not going to force it on you. And that's what you brothers and sisters need to understand. Sister Tierra said, he tried to divorce me twice, and the first time the judge missed it. The second time he didn't show up. I put in for the divorce, and it was granted. That kind of stuff does happen, Sister Tierra. Thank you for sharing that with us. That kind of stuff does happen. What you just described, that comes to a point when the person don't even show up. They don't care. It gets to that point, the person don't care. Let me tell you, my brother and sister, whatever you go through, especially when somebody's moving on from you, guess what? You're not no isolated case, my brother and sister. It just happened to be your case at that time. As I speak right now, my brother and sister, some people are going through this. Tomorrow, if the Lord allowed the world, is somebody going through it. And like I said, my brother and sister, you got to understand this. Don't view yourself as a failure. You may have had a failed relationship with that man or woman, that person that put that fleas on you because they were dogging you out. You were with the wrong person. And like I tell you, don't give up on God. Don't give up on God. But I tell you this, if you hold on to a relationship and a person doing you like that, sometime, my brother and sister, if you in a relationship that is unequally yoked, God will let that person hurt you. God is not going to stop that person from hurting you, because you exercise your free will and you got into a relationship with that person. You knew better. But let me tell you this, my brother and sister, before I wrap it up. What I'm telling you now, my brother and sister, that right, Sister Dime, what I'm telling you, my brother and sister, I know what it feels like to be rejected by a woman. I have walked that road before. A lot of stuff that I'm telling you right now, I know it. I have walked that road before. Some of you have walked that road before. Some of you going to walk that road before. But guess what? As time went on, the Lord still blessed me. And you know what? I'm glad that it happened. Because when it happened, at this particular time, as I speak, I met the best woman in my life. That one right there. At this point in my life, she the best woman that I have ever had a relationship with, as far as a man and a woman. Now, I have had a few that was okay, but the best, in all caps, BEST, the best. And when I look at the past, I'm glad, when I look back, my brother, I'm glad that it came to an end. Because when it came to an end, the Lord elevated me more. Just like he would elevate you, brother and sister. When you got the wrong relationship, the Lord will elevate you. And when he elevates you, it's not going to come with no tears. If it comes tears, they're going to be tears of joy. And you're going to thank the Lord. You're going to thank the Lord for bringing the right person to your life, because you decided to let God bring the right person to your life. You understand? And that what will happen. Speaking of being rejected, let's go back. So Jesus know how it feels to be rejected. Remember what I said earlier, as it is written in Isaiah 53:3, Isaiah 53:3, Isaiah 53:3. It said, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrow and acquainted with grief, and we hid as it were our face from him. He will despise and esteem him not. So the Lord know how it feels to be despised. He know how it feels to be rejected. He know what it's like where you hide yourself away from it. You don't want to be transparent. And again, he know how it feel when you despise it. The Lord feel your vibe when you despise. Have you ever been around someone or you were in a relationship with and you could feel that they don't like you, or you could feel that they got no problem? Especially, brother, that woman that you was in a relationship with, or sister, that man that you were in a relationship with, you could feel it. That's why I say if you're in the house and you walk by one another, or you come in the same room, it's chilly. Winter time is coming. When you see that man coming, sister, when you feel the wind coming and that chill before you see it. And brother, when that woman coming, you already feel it. She ain't got to say nothing. You feel that chill coming. And when you're in the same room, it's just chilly. And you get to the point, where when y'all was on good terms, you didn't mind bumping into each other. Y'all don't want to touch each other, period. Then if you accidentally bump, what? Can't you see me? All this room and you bumping into me, that's how it gets. That's how it gets. 7 signs that he or she is moving on without you. Brother and sister, if it happens, if you got into the relationship the wrong way from the beginning, go ahead and accept it. Go ahead and accept it. Sister Jane's son said, amen. My 2 marriages, I knew better, straight out, unequally yoked. And if there ever be a third one, it needs to be yoked and of God. So I'm trying to be careful and not ignore the red flag. Amen, sister. Sister, son, let me tell you this. Your brother Tony have been on a few failed relationships. You know why I got in a few bad relationships, sister, son? Because I did it my way. I was doing it my way. It was all about me, myself, and I. So I had to get to a point. I was the prodigal son. Just like that story in the Bible. I was a prodigal son. I had a relationship with the Lord, but yet I wanted to do it my way. And when I wanted to do it my way, I got like the real prodigal son in the Bible. I got in the pig pen. I got reduced to the pig pen. I got dirt on my face. I got nasty and everything. And I had to come to myself. Just like the Bible said, the prodigal son had to come to himself. When the prodigal son came to himself and said, I don't have to be in this situation. I remember where I came from. And that's what I had to do. I had to remember where I came from. So I had to get up and go back to the Father. And so when the Father seen me coming through his son, Jesus Christ, Jesus met me. And he washed me and cleared that out of me. He didn't hold against me. And the Lord said, guess what? Just like I had something for Abraham, when he was about to sacrifice his son, I had a ram in the bush. I got something better for you. So let me tell you something, my brother and sister. Just because that zero leave your life, just because you have some fleas on you from that person dogging you out, guess what? The Lord always have a ram in the bush for you if you do it his way. The Lord way is the best way. Believe me, my brother and sister, the Lord way is the best way. And when the Lord bring the right person to your life, for those of you that want to be in a relationship, guess what? You will have unspeakable peace. You may have some storms in your relationship, but you're gonna have a whole bunch of peace in your relationship, my brother and sister. Believe me, you're gonna have a whole bunch of peace in your relationship. Because the Bible clearly say the Lord is not the author. The Lord is not the author of confusion, but it's peace. So if you're in a situation where there's a whole bunch of confusion, and I'm talking to a lot of you married people today, if it's a whole bunch of confusion, the Lord is not there in your relationship. Because the Bible clearly say he's not the author of confusion, but peace. When you're with the right person, my brother, when you run the right person, my sister, guess what? The Lord presence in there. And all you have to do, my brother and sister, is include the Lord in your relationship. Build your relationship on the Lord. When you plant and you invest in that relationship, when you put logs in the fire, my brother and sister, the Lord is the fire that keep it burning. You understand? You got to work when it comes to a relationship. It'll be a good type of work when the Lord puts you with the right person. He's not going to bring the perfect person. That person come to the relationship with flaw. You're going to have some storms in the relationship. You're going to have some seed in the relationship. So my brother and sister, you got to understand, that man, that woman that the Lord brings to you, that's the right person. Yes, he or she going to piss you off. Yes, you're going to piss them off. Yes, he or she may make you cry. Yes, you may make them cry, but stay in the ship. Do not abandon the ship, my brother and sister. And the Lord will get you from this point, from point A to point B. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. I hope that you all got something out of this. You shared some of this dinner with at the dinner table with some more family members and friends, because we got plenty of leftovers. So take some with you and share it with some more family members and friends, my brother and sister. Okay, share. Don't be selfish now. Those of you that on the tube, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and share. Those of you that are on the book, if you don't mind, like and share. Just do that. Just do that. Just do that. Okay. I love you, brothers, and I love you. So, oh, by the way, those of you that are on the book, they got this little star thing at the bottom. After this dinner is over with, just go back to my page and just star. Just hit that star. You ain't got to do nothing else. Just hit the star. Okay. I love you, my brothers. I love you, my sisters. Have a good night. Peace out.